All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for visiting this Friday, BeLive. I'm so super excited. We're going to get into it right away with Ethan from Bombbomb. I'm going to pull him in. Ethan, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Brian. And congrats on getting the show going. You got several episodes in, some great guests, and it's a privilege to be among them.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. It's just like any other new tool. I mean, you've got to try it, and then you've got to keep pushing forward. So let's just get right into it because I try to keep it 20 minutes, and I know we've talked offline. We've got a lot of content. We want to try to rebuff some disbeliefs and open some marketing ideas for people out of the real estate industry. So for people that don't know you, who are you?
My name is Ethan Beute. I came up in local television, so I ran marketing and promotion inside local TV stations for about a dozen years, and then met the two co-founders of Bombbomb, and I've been engaged with them for over 9 years, more than 7 years full-time here. So we've seen a lot of change in that time period. When I came, we had a couple hundred customers. Now we've got over 40,000, and it's just been a really fun and interesting ride overall. We're here in Colorado Springs. I've been out here for a dozen years. Grew up in West Michigan, in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Did an undergrad at the University of Michigan and an MBA out here at the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs. And got a wife and a son, and I love to spend time outside.
Yeah, I follow you on Instagram and Facebook, and you got a lot of great posts. If you guys are on Instagram and Facebook, you want to follow this guy.
Thank you.
Super cool. So let's get right into it. What is Bombbomb about? Give us a little bit of history of the company, if you don't mind.
Sure, yeah. So founded in 2006, and the first few years were how do we make software and how do we get email delivered and some of the guts of it, and started really marketing and selling it in 2011. And so for I'm sure your audience is mixed, but also has kind of a real estate weight to it. We really committed to the real estate community pretty early on in my involvement in late 2011, just because we recognized the product market fit there. And so I'll transition that to the kind of the purpose of the company overall is to get you face to face with more people more often. So in so many of the places that we work, in email, love it or hate it. We had a discussion, in the comments on the post here. Does it work? Does it not work? Whatever. Email, text messaging, even so much of our social media, all of this stuff that we rely on in so many cases has gone faceless. It's plain typed out text that you're probably not very good at. Very few people are expert level writers. We're often misunderstood and confused about what we're writing or how it's being understood on the other side. And above all, it's lacking the strength of who you are. So the reason we fit so well in real estate is that who you are is so fundamental to the service that you provide. But it's the same way in so many other businesses. We all, no matter what role you're in, direct sales or not, we're all in sales per Dan Pink's To Sell Is Human, for example, in that we need to connect with people. We need to influence people. We need to persuade people. We need to sell ideas and opportunities, whether or not those involve signed contracts and selling, properties or just selling ideas. We all do this every day, and we do it best in person because we've been communicating face to face for millennia, hundreds of thousands of years. And so what we're trying to do is make it easy for you in Gmail, in Outlook, from our web app, from our mobile apps, inside dozens of real estate CRMs and platforms, to be able to simply record and send videos, and then to be able to track the results, to know who's watching and when and how long and all those other things. So our goal at its core is to help you rehumanize the way you're communicating, because you are your own best differentiator and people need to see you. That's how we connect and build relationships.
That's a very good answer. And I'm going to build on that a little bit. So what is Bombbomb to me, I'm going to say. So for a lot of you that don't know, is Bombbomb, they have a desktop service where you could upload a video. If you're a realtor and you have a luxury listing or just any listing and you have a database or multiple databases you want to send out to, they also have an app on the phone where you could do that as well. So you could take a video, and I think this is relatively newer, is you can actually text the video, which, I mean, we all know the hot buttons nowadays are texting and video. And Bombbomb's been a while for video, and you're starting to see it become more popular on social platforms as well. But you can now text a video response. I've been in Bombbomb classes at all these conferences I've gone to over the years, and there were some super savvy agents that have autoresponders set up. And one that I thought was super clever was he recorded himself saying, "Hey, I'm on vacation. I'll get back to you." He was in a pool with palm trees around, and he's from like New Jersey or something like that. And that was his autoresponder. And it didn't matter if he was on, I mean, that autoresponder went out 365, but it just let people know that, hey, I'm still working on my vacation and I'll get back to you right away. It was a great video thing. Ethan, another thing I want to just touch on, I was just brought on to this at my Triple Play event I went to, is Gmail add-on on my phone. It may not be an add-on, it's a certain app, but I could get an email. My Gmail goes through the email, and then I can respond back with a video, which I've been using with great success, and I absolutely love that.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, it works in Gmail on your laptop or desktop, but then we also just released what you're referring to as the Bombbomb Inbox mobile app. So if you're already a customer, you can go get it. It's called Bombbomb Inbox for Android or iOS. And then you hook up your email. In this case, it's Gmail, and you can hook up any email address, and you have access to your video library. You can record a new video and send it, and a variety of the other benefits that you get in Gmail or Outlook with Bombbomb. So again, our goal there is to be with you where you are. That's why we opened up our API and allowed all these other real estate systems and a variety of systems, even outside real estate, to build onto our system. Our goal is to be with you where you are and to get you face-to-face more often.
Right, and I just want to tell everybody that's watching this, either live or rerun of it, whatever, this is not a sales or an infomercial. This is something that I feel that I use in my business, and it costs a couple $100s a year, and I will guarantee it gets me at least one sale a year, average commission $3,500 to $5,000. So it pays for itself, hands down. So it's not a sales pitch. I just want you guys to understand, if you're getting Bombbomb videos from me, why you're getting Bombbomb videos from me. And if you're thinking about it, video is the latest thing. It's been coming on now, and I would say the end of 2018 and beginning of 2019, I'm seeing realtors just completely blowing up video, and the lenders left and right. And my one friend, who's a car salesman in Pittsburgh, blowing up video. So it's coming on strong, and a great way to get that out is by email, which is why I use Bombbomb, and I want you guys to understand what Bombbomb is as well. So Ethan, we're going to move on to the next question. In that, you talk about video marketing versus relationships. So what's the difference between video for marketing versus video for relationships?
Right. So I think when a lot of people hear, oh, you should be using video, they get intimidated because they think they need to meet the standard of a television commercial or a film trailer or an amazing homepage video. And if you want to put a nice video about who you are and why you choose to do business and the way that you do business and what your customers say about you, want to produce something really nice for your homepage, you should definitely do that. But we call that marketing through video. And as you already said, Brian, if you're doing that for, if you produce a gorgeous video for your listing, or even an average video for your listing, you can put that in Bombbomb and send it out. But the line that we like to draw and really educate people to, because everyone can and should participate in this. If you're already doing marketing through video, you can do relationships through video as well. If you're not doing marketing through video because you don't have the budget or the time or the know-how, and you find lights and scripts and equipment and all these other things intimidating, you can still participate in what we call relationships through video. And the point of reference with relationships through video is not the television commercial or the film trailer. It's, is this better than if I type the same message out and hit send? Will people feel like they know me? Will I communicate the message more clearly? Can I maybe be more persuasive or clear in my communication in such a way that I will increase my replies and responses? And in so many cases, the answer is yes. And so these are simple, on average, webcam and smartphone videos where you're, instead of typing it all out, you're just talking to people and you're creating these in-person moments. So as a realtor, as you're generating leads, let's say online, your whole goal of your texting and your emails and your phone calls and voicemails and all the systems you have set up, isn't the whole goal to get face-to-face with somebody? If you could get face-to-face with your buyer and seller opportunities sooner, wouldn't that be a benefit to your business? And so that was one of the things we recognized right away, in addition to this idea that you, Brian, your face, your voice, your personality, your expertise, those are the reasons people choose you. Those are the reasons they say, gosh, I interviewed 2 other people, but Brian, I want to list my property with you. It's because of who you are. And so this relationships through video movement is about putting forth who you are instead of letting plain typed out text that doesn't build rapport, that doesn't differentiate you, and in so many cases doesn't communicate as well as if you just talk to somebody. That's what this is all about.
Right. I'm gonna add three things actually, if you don't mind. One is
No.
if you're a realtor and you're sending out videos to potential clients, buyers or sellers, it's a differentiator. And if you've been in real estate longer than a year, you've probably heard about differentiating yourself from other realtors. In Pittsburgh, there's about 7,500 licensed agents in our MLS. So how are you differentiating yourself? If a seller reaches out to three different realtors and two reply via email, one maybe leaves a voicemail, and then the one sends a video message, you are saying, I am going to use technology to market and sell your property better than the other agents that aren't doing it. Two, the second thing I want to point out is it does build a relationship. I've been in community environments with other agents that I've never talked to, and we've only communicated with, can I show your property via phone call or whatever. And then they said, you know what, I feel like I know you from the videos you're sending. So it does send a relationship. It does create a relationship with people on the other end. And three, I was told, and I believe this is, it's harder to reject somebody that has sent you a video than just a plain text email. I mean, you can hit delete real easy, and I do it all the time. I get a handful of Bombbomb videos from other people, and even if it's an agent that I got on their newsletter somehow that's in Wisconsin that I know I'm never going to go to Wisconsin, I still watch the Bombbomb video just to see what they're going to say, just to hear what their voice sounds like, to hear their accent, just to get to kind of know them. I think it's great.
Yeah, and that's especially true. I'll add two things. That's especially true for truly one-to-one sends. When you're not mass sending these videos, and I'm making a video and it says, "Hey Brian," and you inquired on one of my listings. I'm going to write your name on this little whiteboard. I'm going to start the video. So in the animated preview that we automatically produce, you know that this video is just for you, and I'm going to address the nature of your inquiry. I'm going to add one little line of text. That is much harder to get rid of than something that feels like it's just this anonymous, even if it's personalized with variable data inserted. We all know that that's variably data inserted versus there's no substituting the time that I'm giving you, and you feel that, and it creates this sense of reciprocity. The other thing I'll add is, you mentioned CNS at Triple Play. Steve Passanelli travels all year long and does great deep education. And so he's at Triple Play. We'll be at Keller Williams Family Reunion. Of course, we'll be at R4. And so when I go to R4, because I send a ton of videos on behalf of our company, I'll be in the elevator on the way down to the conference or back up to my room, or I'll be in line at Starbucks. And I have conversations, and this is going to happen to you in the produce section of your local grocery store if you're sending videos into your local community. It happens to me when I go into my community, which is like at Remax R4, and I have conversations I never would have had otherwise. And they don't always start with, "Hey, Ethan." Sometimes they start with, "Hey, Bombbomb guy," or "Don't I know you? I feel like I know you." But these are just really cool opportunities that make work, not just more productive, but also more satisfying. It's a pleasure to be in real relationship with people. And when you communicate in a more human way more often, it really just helps get you there.
Right, and it's a great conversation starter is basically what you're saying. And in real estate, if you had any type of real estate coaching or a mentor, they're telling you want to do something to start a conversation with people. And I've been doing Lawrenceville Living community videos, and I put myself out there in video interviewing other people. And Sean Anthony does it, Community Connect, over in the northeast of Pennsylvania. And we're doing that just so people will see us and reach out to us and say, "Hey, what's the market like?" Or I'm interested in selling my home 3 months from now. And that's what video is doing for you.
Yep.
All right, great. So Sean Anthony, I just mentioned him. He had a question, and we get this a lot. How does Bombbomb teach and help people get over the fear of video?
Yeah, so that's a tough one because there's no easy answer. There are a couple things here, though. The reason it feels so difficult, there are a couple of them. One, we all lack a little bit of confidence, and it comes from being our own harshest critic. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, when we look at ourselves, when we turn our video camera on, we're fussing over all the little details. Whereas your recipient, especially in a one-to-one scenario, is just thankful that you reached out in a way that allows them to connect with you. So one, recognize that you're your own harshest critic and kind of bring it down a notch if you can. Two, you're not used to seeing and hearing yourself. You look out at the world, you speak into the world, you engage with other people. Everyone knows what you look like and sound like, but when you stop and hit playback before you send it, which I discourage you from doing, I just encourage you to just send it. Don't play it back. All of a sudden, you're paying attention, again, with your highest critic, to what you look like and sound like. And you think you look a certain way. And above all, this is like a physical thing as well as a mental thing. You sound you sound different on playback. You sound different to everybody else in the world than you sound in your own head and in your own ears. And so that itself is also awkward. And so there's just no other way to say it, that you need to get out of your own head. You need to record and send. And once you start doing that, practice builds confidence. Confidence builds success. And a part of that confidence and success part is when you start getting replies that say, oh my gosh, so nice to see you. Or, oh my gosh, that was the coolest video. That's the coolest email I've gotten, which happens all the time. Oh my gosh, thank you for taking the time to answer my question with that video. You're going to put more, if someone reaches out with an inquiry and you type out the response, you're going to spend 2 or 3 minutes doing that. It's going to be 2 or 3 paragraphs. You might even spend 4 or 5 minutes doing that, especially if you want to correct it and make sure it's all right and everything. Whereas if you just clicked record, talk to somebody, you're going to do that in 45 seconds to a minute, minute and a half. You're going to actually save time doing this, but you're going to get people thanking you for the time that you spent, because it's so much more tangible. Because when we send plain typed out words, this is a research-based observation, people do not assign, in the absence of a human voice, they do not assign the words that they're reading to a sentient human being. Whereas we'll even assign human-like qualities to our phones when we talk to them and they talk to us. And so you are what you send. And when you're in your head about what you look like and sound like on video and say, oh, this isn't good enough, I can't send it, you are what you send. Is sending yourself, even if you're judging yourself harshly, better than sending yourself as a block of plain undifferentiated text? And the answer 9 times out of the 10 is yes. And so it's really this practice element. That's just a little monologue about getting out of your own head and getting over the fear of it. There's really no way around it. Doing it gets you out of it. Everyone's first 10 videos are a heck of a lot worse than their 100th first, 100th, 10th.
You've had so many good points that I want to build on. Let's break it down. Why are you sending this video out? Are you sending it out because you're applying for a modeling job and a speaking gig? No, the purpose, what is the end game? The end game is to get buyers, get sellers, get a listing sold. Those people on the other end that are listening and watching you, which you may be face to face with them, then what are you going to do? They don't care if your hair is proper. As a matter of fact, when I do a lot of my videos, sometimes I'll trip and I will leave it in there. Sometimes I'll have my head down on the phone and I'll hit like a tree branch on the side of the street. I will leave that in there because the people on the other end are fallible too. They don't want to see perfection. And I think that's why reality TV over the past decade or so has become so popular, behind the scenes type of stuff, because we're tired of seeing perfection in these professionally recorded videos. So, I mean, I know Katie Lance was watching and she said it before, is your best video is the one you're going to do versus the one you're not going to do. So get out there and let's just start doing video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done that survey question to some of our most prolific customers numbers of times over the years, and they say the same: just do it, just send it, don't play it back. Your imperfection is your perfection. To your point here, which I didn't hit on, is that this authenticity pulls the veil down. There's a reason that salespeople get a bad name, and it's this perception of here comes the guy in the cheap suit on the car lot, and he's going to come and just shake me down and just wrestle me to the ground to try to get my signature on a loan doc to buy some car I don't want. Right? There are all these things, and when you just reach out and you are who you are, because you're in this business for who you are. If you've ever closed a deal, and even if you haven't, if you've ever closed a deal, you've closed that deal at least in 50 to 90% part due to who you are and how you go about things. You're capable of doing this. If you ran, going back to the grocery store, in the produce section of the grocery store, if you bumped into someone like, oh, hey, Mary, gosh, it's been since last summer since I've seen you. How you doing? Awesome. State of the market? Well, let me tell you about that. You're not going to think twice about that conversation, but somehow when you click record, all of a sudden it's, and you just, you just kind of like lock up, and it's just, I understand why it happens. It happens to everybody except maybe the 1% that are just naturals out of the gate. Right. It happens to everybody, but everyone whose videos you see on Facebook, LinkedIn, in email, in YouTube, every single one of those people went through that same thing. It's just a matter of whether they went through it a month ago or 10 years ago. The sooner you start, the better you get tomorrow.
Right. And 2 things I want to talk about. One is I was told whenever there's a new marketing thing that comes out in any industry, a window opens. And the longer that marketing tool is out there, the more that window eventually closes to the point of inefficiency because everybody has started taking it on and watering it down. And my last point on fear of video is I always shoot once and go. I think Steve taught me that. I think Katie Lance taught me that. I think Tom Ferry has mentioned that. I never rewatch it. And I've heard other people out there, realtors, say, I watch it and the wind was blowing my hair and I had to change it. It's like a buyer that you've had that just keeps looking at houses that can't quite pull the trigger. You're that realtors that cannot pull the trigger on the video and just do it live. You are that buyer that you take out there that drives you nuts, that won't buy a house and pull the trigger.
You complain about in all the Facebook groups. I see it.
You're that person. So just go one shot live unless you absolutely record it, and unless you absolutely somehow your tooth falls out or your toupee falls off. I don't know. Maybe you might not want that out there, but just go one time and send it. Hit and send. That's it. Okay, last question for you, and we're going to go out of the real estate industry, which I am excited about, is Kevin Cornell, a top car salesman here in Pittsburgh. How can I use video to take my car sales to the next level?
Awesome. So you mentioned real estate, you mentioned mortgage. We do a ton of business with loan officers and teams of loan officers. We also do a ton of business in automotive, as well as financial advising, insurance sales, inside sales and software companies, all of these scenarios. So again, the point on relationships through video isn't that relationships are important in the real estate business. It's that relationships are important in every business. They provide us with a more effective and more satisfying way to work when we can truly connect with people and show empathy and listen well and give back value and all these other things, especially in a direct face-to-face scenario. Video is the next best thing when you can't be there in person. This is what makes us effective at our jobs, and it's what gives us satisfaction in our jobs and in our lives in general, is this connection with and service with and through other people. And so this works in any business because it's about being a more human communicator in the tools that you're relying on every day to get your job done. So in automotive, it's the same thing. Leads are being generated online, and oftentimes, as they are when they inquire on listings or they're browsing on websites, they're browsing. They don't necessarily want to talk to you yet. They're in research mode. And so a way when someone fills out a form to get the internet price on this car is, instead of sending out the plain text emails and the plain text drip automation, maybe let that stuff go. And if someone actually is opening and connecting with those messages, and you can see that in your system, take a minute and say, hey, Mary, still interested in, Volkswagens, or whatever the case may be, right? Talk about specifically what they inquired about, and then just reach out, say, hey, I've been sending you emails. I actually left you a couple of voicemails. My name is Ethan. I just want to put a face with the name and let you know that whether that's the exact car you're looking for, or you're looking for something in that price range, or maybe in that model year, I can get you anything that you need. I just love to talk with you. Schedule an appointment, or, whatever your call to action is, reply to this email, give me a phone call back, whatever. And so it's bringing people down out of the anonymous buyers mode. And certainly, again, just like when people are inquiring on listings or registering on websites, they're probably not just registering on your own, or if they're doing it on Zillow or Truly or some of these other sites where they are being presented with multiple faces of other working professionals. How do you stand out against those? And so it's in the car business. It's a lot like real estate. You can actually show the inventory as well. We have people that'll walk out with the mobile app and they'll just kind of show someone inside the car, right? So you saw the 18 photos of the car online, but what if the person introduces him or herself, flips the camera around and shows you what the car actually looks like? We've seen that be highly effective too. My last tip here, this comes from a really good longtime automotive customer, a guy named Kenny Landrum. He's in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And he has made a real business out of reaching out to orphan customers. Now, I don't know how well this probably does translate into a real estate team. So this is a customer who's done business at the dealership with Bob, but Bob retired, or Bob left to go over to the Lexus dealership, or whatever the case may be. Bob's no longer there. So this is an orphan customer. He sends birthday videos and follow-up videos and just lets them know, hey, thank you again so much for doing business with Toyota of Bowling Green. My name is Kenny. Your guy Bob is no longer with us. I wanted to introduce myself and let you know if you have any questions at all, or I just wanted to reach out on behalf of all of us and say happy birthday. These kinds of things where he's building this connection, letting them know that he knows who you are, a little bit about how you did business, what's the nature of the relationship, and taking ownership and responsibility of that relationship. And he's turning that into not just sales, but also referrals. He's prolific online with video. So he does customer testimonials with everyone. And you start to see these links of like, He reached out with a birthday video 8 months ago to this one guy, and he's now done 4 additional sales off of that. And he had no relationship with the guy. He just took a name and an email address and a couple pieces of data out of the CRM, sent a personal video. And that touch is so human and so unique that it draws people down off the fence and creates conversations and engagement and sales.
Right. So Kevin, Ethan hit a ton. Let's just do autoresponder. Anything you really need to send an email, but you can do it on a generic autoresponder. How do you first reach out to that lead? Maybe you pick up the phone and call. Maybe you send an email. You can still pick up the phone and call and send out that autoresponder with your face on it. It could be 10 seconds. Hey, I'm Brian Teste with blah, blah, blah car dealership. I got your inquiry. I'll be with you. Keep an eye out for a phone call. Ethan, you mentioned it.
And a pro tip, keep an eye out for a phone call from this number. Right? Because if you're calling into a cell phone, it's like anonymous phone number from the local area. All these awful call centers. I read a stat recently. The spam on our phones is going to exceed the spam in our inbox by the end of next year. Over 50% of calls are going to be spam calls. It's already happening to me, but that's because I don't make a lot of phone calls. I'm not a real estate agent, so I'm not living there all the time. But tell them what number you're calling from so that they can recognize it, and tell them that you are going to call. So this give and take between whether you lead with the video email or whether you lead with the phone call. If you lead with the phone call, say, hi, I'm going to be in your inbox shortly. Be on the lookout for that. If you lead with the video email and you're going to follow up with the call, say, I'm going to be reaching out to you by phone from the phone number you see right down below, or even say it. If you want to add that button, it's that trust factor. I saw a stat recently that the most effective cold outreach is done with both phone and email. And so in this case, video email would take that up a notch.
Right. And I think that's fantastic. If you set expectations by saying in the video, keep an eye out from this number, going to be calling you, I think you have a better chance of converting.
You do, because you're building trust. You're setting expectations, and then you're meeting or exceeding those expectations. So right away, even if I'm not consciously, I would not consciously think this, but you're doing what you said you were going to do. And that's what you want to do. You want to do, I'm going to do this, and then you do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And that's how we build trust, by honoring our word and doing what we say we're going to do. And then when you do it again in a more personal way, it's even more effective.
100%. I think a couple other action items I wanted to get on for Kevin was car sale anniversary, if they've had it for a year. If you get their birthdays, which you probably should, if you have a special event going on, holiday videos, you could be sending this all. Anything you post on your Instagram stories, you could put that in a video email and send that out. I don't think very many car salesmen are doing this, at least in Pittsburgh. You could probably grow your business exponentially if you started using video. And again, only a couple $100 a year, Ethan, for Bombbomb.
Yeah, our main subscription is $468 or $588 a year. It's always price for life, a money back guarantee. So it's, we know that this works. We know it from surveys we've run. We know it from anecdotal stories. We know it from people like you, Brian. Thank you for sharing your experience with it. And again, even if you can't believe I'm saying this out loud, even if you're like, oh, this is all bomb, 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 bomb. I'm convinced that you are better in person. And so no matter how you choose to incorporate it in your business, I promise you that if you incorporate video into your business, you will be more successful. And it doesn't have to be expensive, time consuming, highly produced, or any of that. When people feel like they know you before they meet you, you are going to win more opportunities, whether you're in direct sales or you're just selling ideas and opportunities. And we all do that. That's what I do. I don't direct sell. But I sell ideas and opportunities. And I know that I'm more effective when I can use the full range of my emotion and my body and all my rich nonverbal communication. Obviously, I'm excited and passionate about what we do. I believe in it wholeheartedly. And I think that comes through in video. If you believe in what you're doing, if you're sincere about your service, sincere about the value that you're providing, you're going to win with this, because people will feel it. They can't feel it when they read your words. They can't. And so you're going to win. So even if you say, I've heard the words bomb bomb back to back too many times in this period, and you through it all, at least start using video in some capacity.
Right. And listen, if you're in sales, which if you're a realtor, you have a great personality that draws your buyers and sellers to you. And maybe if you don't have a great personality, I know there are definitely realtors out there do not, you may be the expert in your field in foreclosures and land and commercial in your zip code, whatever. You want to get that through with video. And I'm going to tie this up with a little bit of, we talked about fallibility. I signed up for Bombbomb when it first came out, and video was still kind of new and I didn't really know what I was going to use it for. So I'm one of those people that signed up and had it for a year and didn't use it at all. It may even been a year and a half. And then I finally started chugging along in video. So it's not always about the immediate gratification. Even if you don't use Bombbomb now or video, just start using it. In a year from now, you may remember this and have an epiphany and be like, I want to get Bombbomb. And then I'm telling you as a personal me to you, it will take your business to the next level if you're in sales. And I'm really talking to realtors especially. So with that, I'm done. Ethan, thank you very much. Anything to add at the end?
No, thank you very much. As you said, if you want to connect with me online, I'm just Ethan Beute, first name, last name. Last name is Beute on basically all the networks. You can email me with any questions or observations or feedback, or tell me I'm full of it at ethan@bombbomb.com. And we're Bombbomb across all the social networks as well. It's just the word bomb twice. And if you want to know the story, you can reach out to me and I'll tell you the story by simple personal video. And I'll write your name on this whiteboard.
You want to get videos from him. I get them all the time and I love them. All right, my friend, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in.